last few weeks, millions of young people have been arriving home from holidays abroad. But while teenage clubbers reflect on the good time they had, they may also discover that they're left with more permanent reminders. Audio experts are warning that prolonged exposure to new digital sound systems could lead to an upsurge in hearing loss among the young. And as Jonathan Maitland now reports on the dance floors of Ibiza, that threat is all too apparent.
Welcome to Ibiza. Nice, quiet, peaceful Ibiza. At least that's what it's like until the sun goes down. By the end of this year, 1 million holidaymakers from the UK will have gone to Ibiza. And not just for the scenery. Why have you come to Ibiza?
Why? Because of the club?
For the nightlife.
Just because of the clubs mainly, isn't it? It's just a place to be.
These clubbers might be good news for Ibiza then, but is Ibiza good news for them?
What kind of effect does it have on you? I mean, when you come out of the club, what's going on in your head?
Ringing tones in your ears.
You get ringing in your ears,
Yeah.
It's just like ringing in your ear, buzzing.
The next day you got a real bad ring and you can't really hear much at all. You just get used to just not being able to hear properly out here.
I don't think young people do always appreciate the damage that they might be doing to their hearing. Certainly we're seeing an increasing number of people putting themselves at potential risk because they're going to more noisy environments on a more regular basis, and therefore one has to be fearful that we may see in the future damage resulting from that.
We decided to find out what effect just one night's clubbing can have on your hearing by carrying out an experiment involving 4 young and very eager to party clubbers who just arrived on the island.
First of all, I'm just going to have a quick look in your ears, alright?
Conducting it, Tracy Adams, a hearing expert and an Ibizan clubber herself. Her first task was to check our guinea pig's hearing before the partying started.
We check that their eardrums are healthy by using the tympanometer. That just checks that they haven't got any holes in their eardrums and they haven't got any ear infections. Then we're doing an automatic hearing test, which is called an otoacoustic emission. But to get a more thorough idea of what their hearing is like, we've done a proper pure tone audiometer test where they have to press a button when they hear a bleep.
With part 1 of the experiment now over, part 2, the enjoyable bit, at least for the clubbers, can now begin. While Tracy did her headmistress at the school disco bit, monitoring the sound levels, our team of clubbers got on with what they came here to do in the first place.
The real problem we have is that noise is very, very well regulated occupationally now, and it's not regulated in the leisure centres and activities that we undertake. So you can get very high levels of noise momentarily, which can damage your hearing, or if you're a really keen disco goer and you go every night, of your life between 16 and 23 or 5 or whatever, then yes, you may well damage your hearing.
So just how loud was the music? I tried getting Tracy to tell me, but I couldn't hear her. But then neither could the DJ hear me, apparently, when I asked for some kajagoogoo.
Do you like it loud?
Yeah. Louder the better.
It's the whole point of going clubbing for loud music. All part of the enjoyment of it.
By now our clubbers had grown restless and moved on to another venue. How long do you go clubbing for at a stretch?
Depends, about 12, 15, how long it goes for?
Yeah. Every night really, from about 7 o'clock until about 7 o'clock the following morning after. We didn't get in there till about 12 o'clock and we didn't get out till about 7 or something. So.
Never mind 7 hours, 3 were plenty for me. By this time I'd had more than enough, and if I'd had a white flag I'd have been waving it. So I suggested, stroke screamed, to Tracy that we leave them to it and go somewhere a little more peaceful. How loud was it in there?
Actually, I was quite surprised at how loud it was in the clubs. At times it went up to about 120 decibels, which is really very loud, and the average in there was about 103 decibels. The international safety guidelines say that in those kind of levels you really shouldn't be exposed to that kind of noise, 103 decibels, for more than about an hour and a half. And obviously if people are in there 5 hours a night all week, then they're really exposing themselves to a lot of noise. It could be that in the future people have worse hearing because of the damage that they're doing now in clubs.
So the more you listen to loud music, the greater the risk to your hearing. The effects are cumulative. But worryingly, it's possible to get tinnitus from just one night's exposure to loud noise.
Left the club, a bit of a ringing in my ears, as you know, a lot of people experience on a weekend anyway. Went home, woke up the next morning, and it was still there, and it hasn't gone away. It's just been there ever since. You can't get away from it no matter what you do. The only time it's not there is when you're asleep, or if you're somewhere where there's a lot of background noise, you don't notice it. But you know, it's like when someone rubs their finger around the top of a glass or something like that, permanently there in your left ear.
Right, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, right, you've been clubbing all night, how do you feel?
Tired. Ready for bed.
Worn out.
Yeah.
And what are you hearing in your ears? I mean, do you feel your hearing's worse?
There is ringing still in my ears, yeah. Like a buzzing noise.
So what's the damage?
So what are the results?
Well, what we found is that the 4 people who had pretty good hearing before they went clubbing, after 4 hours in their club, the hearing tests show that they have got a hearing loss after going clubbing. This is probably a temporary hearing loss. It'll probably come back tomorrow.
So, in simple terms, their hearing has been damaged by what they've been dancing to this evening? It
has temporarily been damaged, but the worry is, of course, that if they subject themselves to those levels of sound on a regular basis, that temporary hearing loss could become a permanent one.
Add in all-nighters, plus the fact that digital technology is sending music levels higher all the time, and things can only get worse. And as some people have already found out, once your hearing's damaged, you can't get it back.
I've been going out and DJing for sort of 12 years now, and this is what's happened to me in 12 years, so I'm sure there are like lots and lots of other people in the same boat, so you just have to be careful, you know, because you are doing sort of unrepairable damage to your ears.
All right, well, I've got the results of your tests here, and all of you, your hearing has been temporarily damaged. What do you think about that?
It's not too surprising. There's definitely ringing in your ears. Music's extremely loud, so...
Yeah, it's really loud in the club, so, you know, you can only expect damage, can't you?
Well, you could wear earplugs.
But quite stupid with earplugs in, wouldn't we, to go clubbing?
Would you ever consider wearing these things in the club to kind of cut down on the effects?
No.
Would you ever wear these things in the club?
Would we have to hear the music?
You put them in your ears, not on your nose. Would you ever consider wearing these things in the nightclub?
No, but my mum wears them because my dad snores a lot.
It might seem like a bit of a joke to some people, but the nightmare scenario is that one day we could have a generation of people with permanently damaged hearing. A case of live now, pay later, perhaps.
Doctors we have spoken to agree that continuous exposure to that level of noise could lead to long-term hearing damage. Their advice is to take regular breaks from the dance floor and stay away from speakers. Specialist earplugs may not be the ultimate fashion statement, but regular clubbers are advised to wear them.